Alright, so I'm here to make a quick demonstration video on how to create a rub or a transfer sheet. And we're going to do that so we can take our sketches that we've rendered out and transfer those to our final paper. So our finals could be anything. They could be anything from a painting to an inked project. It really doesn't matter. The one thing we just want to avoid is we want to avoid the sketching process on a final piece of paper where we're sketching, erasing, sketching, erasing, sketching, erasing. We just want to get our most important lines down so we can use those and then use our rendered sketch, our rendered drawing, our fleshed out drawing as a reference for completing our final. So let's go over a couple of different ways. The easiest way to create a rub is to have this powdered graphite, but most people don't have it. You can buy it in stores. They sell it at Michael's, they sell it at Hobby Lobby. You're not going to find it at a Target. You're probably not going to find it at a Staples or a Walmart. Art stores, and then I would say your Michael's carries them too. So what do? Well, if you have a sharpener like this, where you're holding all your shavings, you can take this and you can dump your shavings out. So you have your pencil shavings. You can get a tissue piece of paper, for blowing your nose, or a cotton ball. Doesn't really matter. And then you're just going to take this and you're just going to rub. And you want this to be like a nice medium gray when you're doing this. So I'm just going to keep rubbing here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of my excess. So my excess is going to go into my trash, and I have a nice little rub. Well, I don't have a sharpener that collects shavings, and I'm not going to collect my shavings from my regular sharpener, which might, look something like this or like this, and it could be a plastic version. And I understand that. Why collect your shavings? It doesn't make any sense. Well, you could take your pencil and you can do the exact same thing. It's just a little bit more time consuming. But you want to make sure that you put enough down. And you don't have to be perfect with it. You can see all the streaks that I have, and that's fine. And then you're going to take your tissue paper again, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Now, sometimes when I don't get enough coverage, I will take it, I'll grab the pencil, and then I'll go the other direction too. You just want to make sure you have enough graphite. So there you go. So now I have a rub. So how do you use this? Well, here is a blank piece of paper. I'm going to put the rub face down on that blank sheet of paper. Now, I have some sketches, some rough drafts that I did. And I'm just going to grab one. I'm going to grab that one. And all I'm going to do is take my pencil, I'm going to trace over it. Now here's the important part. Make sure you put the rub where you're going to put your drawing. Okay, so right now the rub area is underneath this. So if I come in and trace this, and I'm not going to trace this whole thing, this is just for a demo, but I want to give you guys enough to look at to where you can see where everything's going to be. So I'm going to stop here. Okay, so that should be enough, so you guys should get the gist of it. The other thing I will do, watch this, I'm just going to write transfer in my sketch, chicken scratch. So when I come in here, you might have a hard time seeing it. Let me zoom in real fast. but now you can see that it's transferred. It looks really, really, really light. That's because of the camera. I'm going to push this up closer to the camera so you can see it. But that's about the value that I see. So it's like a light gray. You can read transfer up there at the top. You can see the fish. So it's important to have a nice medium gray. You don't want to go too dark. If you go too dark, any type of pressure you put on the paper, like just a little bit of pressure on the paper, that pressure will transfer over into like a smudge on your final. A nice even gray. Make sure that you put a nice rub down on it. If you're using shavings from the pencil, make sure you wipe off and blow off any excess shavings before you put this onto your final paper, because that will also transfer. But that's it. That's an easy transfer. That's how you can take a sketch that you're refining and exploring and experimenting on, and then you could just transfer it without a light table onto your final. Now, if you have a light table, you just use a light table. But this is for my students. None of them have a light table, so we have to find other means for remote learning on how to do a transfer. So this is the easiest way to transfer. The nice thing about this process, though, is if you're doing a painting on a canvas or on a really thick paper, you're not going to be able to use a light table anyways. You're going to have to use the rub method. So make your transfer sheet, tape everything into place, put it on top of the surface that you want to draw or paint on, and then just trace it. And then you should lift it up just to make sure every so often that the transfer is going through, because if you go too light on your transfer paper, it's really not going to work. So that's it for today. Hope that's helpful. Remember, your objective is to not sketch on your final. You want to just transfer the most important lines and then use your sketch, your refined drawing, as your example for finishing your final product. Okay? Have a good day.